Everybody's rolling in. Happy Monday, guys. Thanks for being on. Sorry, we were just a second late. The growth call for KW leadership ran a little bit behind, and we were just getting started. So thanks for being here. I'm super excited about today and my guest. This is Brittney McAllister. I met her and just loved everything about her. She's going to give you guys life today. And her business is so impressive, just what she's done and the way that she set it all up. So I'm going to have her tell you guys a little bit about it. And then just some ground rules. If you have questions, just type them in the chat and I'll field as we go. And then we are recording. And then anything that she's gracious enough to share with you guys, hopefully, Brittney, you can just send to me and then we'll send it out in our email recap. So thanks for being here.
Yes, that's perfect. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. I feel like we met, it was so great. That was, down in Florida, and I'm so grateful. So Brittney and I follow everything you do now. So we're total giant fans of everything you do. And I just love your market centers, everything that you guys have going on. We are how can we go be we want to be in Dana's market center.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. We've been really upping our game with the trainings and stuff this year, and it's been great. And by the way, I'm just trying to figure out, do you have to be born with dimples like that? Or is there a way that I could physically enhance my face to get
right? I know they're there. I had someone once tell me, they were like, you should get your dimples pierced. And I was like, I don't think that's for me. A and B, I'm like, then they'll never go back to what
they're perfect. I'm just jealous looking at him right now.
Thank you.
I wonder if my facial lady can make those in there.
Yeah.
If anybody knows that's on, comment in the chat. Let us know. Okay, so let's talk real estate. Start from the beginning. Linda would always say you were born and then what? Share with them a little bit about how you got started and just a quick little about your business, and then we'll go into the deep stuff.
Right. Perfect. So I shut my office door. So we have two parts in our little office here, and I had shut my door and I told my team, I was like, okay, I'm going on a Zoom. I'll shut my door because they all could probably recite this story verbatim. So I am a second generation realtor. So I got my license when I was 11. My mom got her license when I was 11 years old. And really it was from that moment on, I was the weird kid that wanted to be a real estate agent when I grew up. And you
were opposite. Most people's kids are I never want to be in real estate because my parents are on the phone and all this stuff.
Yes. And I just loved everything. And I loved the idea. I'm a big group project person. I like working in groups. I didn't like that somebody else's success, or that my success rather, might be dependent on someone else. And I felt in a corporate setting, or it didn't, I'm if I'm going to, work my butt off, I want there to be no limit. I want, the sky's the limit, do whatever I want and go just no one's going to outwork me. And so I have papers from high school and stuff where I was writing, here's why I would make a good real estate agent, and just all the things that it said. So that was my life. So I did end up going to school on the East Coast for business. I was recruited to go out there and do I was on an acrobatics and tumbling team. And my mom was like, hey, if this real estate thing doesn't work out for you, you need to have something in your back pocket to fall back on. I'm like, okay, Mom. So I end up transferring back to Omaha my senior year. So going into my senior year of college, and I got licensed that summer as well. So I was in school full-time as a senior in college, doing real estate full-time. I was still living in my mom's basement. And so I actually told all my professors, this was in 2015. And so that fall semester was my first year first year here in Omaha at college. And I went up to all my professors and I introduced myself. And I said, I'm starting my real estate career. So if my phone rings, I have to leave your class and answer it. And I promise I'm a really good student. I'll come back, I'll take notes, whatever. But when my phone rings, no one can know I'm a student. And every professor was like, okay, you do you, whatever. And so from 2015, so I got licensed July 31st of 2015. And then that first 6 months, so it's so funny. I feel like now that I get to be on these calls and I get to have all these conversations, it sometimes glamorizes it a little bit, and everyone's like, gosh, you just really were so successful so fast. And I have to remind myself, like, it really wasn't like an overnight success. That first 6 months in real estate, I only sold one house to my dad. Like, do you feel bad for me? Except he was the only person in my life really that hadn't already bought or sold a house with my mom. So she's still active, she's still selling. And so when, there was a lot of things that I got from her that, in the form of process is a little bit of process, a little bit of like a lot of scripts, a lot of how to handle situations. But what I didn't
come in and work. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say what I didn't come from her or didn't get from her was like business.
Right.
So,
okay.
Yeah, now it's really bad because now that I have a team, she's like, Brittney's too busy, just work with me. And I'm like, Mom, this is not cool. Like, you don't get to steal people away from me. But so that was one thing that I really had to, like, in that first couple years, it was really a grind. So in my first full year was 2016 and I did 33 units.
Wow.
And only like 3 or 4 were over 200,000.
Okay. So lower
grind. Yes. Under 200. And it was a lot of first time home buyers. I was 21 and 21, 22. And I just like, these are going to be my people. This is where I feel comfortable. This is where I felt like I could provide a lot of value to those people. And it really came back to be a huge success in 2020. So all those people that had bought their first house with me in 2016, ended up taking advantage of the market in 2020 and 2021. And we've had a ton of repeat clients in the last couple of years, which has been really, really fun for me, just as we integrate ourselves into their lives and just that kind of stuff.
What would you say? So what did you guys do like last year and what are you on track to do this year?
Okay. So I was an individual agent I was on my mom's team. And then we came to Keller Williams in 2017. And at that time we made the decision to kind of part ways. She's still my mom. She's still my best friend. We just decided we run our businesses differently. And so 2017, we came to Keller. I was an individual agent in 2018, 19, 20. And then in 21, I decided to really start my team.
Yep.
So last year we did 105 units there's 2 of us that are licensed.
Yep.
It was just over 30 million. And this year we are on track. We've got 108 closed and pending for 37 million.
Wow. Great job. Okay. So let me go back to just really quick to the first year. 33 units in your first year is amazing, especially when you weren't getting leads from anybody else. I know a lot of those were first time home buyers, but we have some people on who are in their first year. So before we get to like the team building and the 30 million, go back to that year, Brittney. What were some of the main things that you did from the very beginning to close 33 units your first year?
Yeah. So I was, so at the time we were getting like online leads. Yep. And so I would say, so my sources of business in that first year, it was open houses, online leads, and then just like Sphere, but it was, so my very first listing, for example, it was my 8th grade Spanish teacher. And I had posted on Facebook and I, just asking people for help and said, I'm getting into, I'm in real estate now and here's what I'm looking for. And here's how I can help, blah, blah, blah. And she reached out to me and she said, if you are half the agent that you were student, I know you're going to be a really hard worker. And I still get goosebumps. And I actually saw her this weekend and I just love her so much. And that was like, all it takes is one, right? It's like, all it takes is that first couple people to believe in you. And then I know we need to go believe in ourselves first, but it's those first 2 that really believe in you. And then you're like, okay, yes, I can do this. And so I did open houses every weekend. I was in minimum of 2 open houses every weekend, sometimes 4. I would double up Saturday and Sunday. Yep. It's so funny looking back. And I always wish I would have kept a journal at this time. And I still wish I do now, but because there's times like I remember asking my mom, why would these listing agents not sit in their open house? This is so stupid. I'm getting so much business from this. And my mom's like, listing agents, like they have other things they want to do. And now as a listing agent, I'm like, anybody want to do this open house?
Yeah. It flips. Yeah. I always say that. Like I tell new agents all the time, especially now, because now that the market is starting to turn, sitting in open houses. I mean, I worked in open house 7 days a week unless I like had the flu and was dying for probably the first 3 years of getting my license. And it was where my business came from.
Yes. And for me, it just felt like I'm not a super pushy person. I'm not a very like, hard, aggressive, like that's just not who I am. I'm not a high D at all. And so I loved open houses because in my mind, they're walking into me. Like they came here, they get to talk to me now because they came here. It wasn't like I was bothering them or, any of the
raise their hand. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say that actually goes into one of the questions that we got to in the chat. How did you convert those people from open houses?
I was going to say, I just saw that. So I love to jam pack my open houses with value. So one of the things I would have, I would bring only one copy of the seller's disclosure. And I would write on the top in big, like Sharpie, open house copy, ask me for a copy.
Love that.
So if there was a lot of people coming in, which there is a time when there's a lot of, people coming.
And we'll be getting back to those days too. I mean, still they are right now.
Absolutely. If someone was holding it, I'd say, it looks like they're looking at my open house copy right now. What's a good email for you? I'll send it to you right now.
Yep.
And then you just like avoid eye contact and wait till they give you some type of email. And then I've always been big on sign-in sheets that are like in-person sign-in sheets. But if you're going to get someone's information, you have to have something of value. So like the seller's disclosure is an easy one. Another thing that I did, and now that there's more listing inventory starting to pick up, this is a really good one, is I would go find all of the other houses that were maybe either similar style or that were like in the same price point that are right in that like same school district.
For sale.
Yes, that are for sale.
Yep.
Print them all and I'd staple it and I would say, I don't know if anyone's ever showed these to you, but this is all the other houses that are for sale right now. I'm here until 3. If you have time after 3, I could go show you any of these.
Yep. That's an old trick that works so good.
Yes. And you will find there's a lot of things I've done. I say this on my listing appointments, the benefit of having, a mom that's been in the business forever. And like what we have going on now is I do a lot of things that are very old school because it works and you don't have to reinvent the wheel. And there's also things I do now, as far as social media and all that kind of stuff that's, that's different that my mom doesn't necessarily do now.
Do you feel like, so that was real, you gave them value, you followed up with them, and then they were saying that you were doing things that other agents weren't doing when they were going in open houses, and that was having them choose to work with you?
Yes. And I try to like, I think there's so much that it's hard to coach around. There's just so much like when it comes to building rapport with people quickly, and open houses is a really good way to quickly do that with someone. So like, I know like one thing that breaks the ice a little bit is like, just not asking, like, they walk in, you're not immediately like, what brings you in today? Like, you're not like right down that you're like, oh my gosh, like, I love your shirt, complimenting them, like bringing that wall down a little bit, showing them that you're not like so robotic. They walk in like, sign the sheet or I'm not talking to you. Like you can say things that are, break down that wall a little bit. And then I just ask a lot of questions and I just try to get to, have you been looking for a long time? That's usually my first question. And I feel like a lot comes from that. And, if it's 2 people, like a couple and they're making eye contact, like, or they say like, we never stop looking, like you can judge a lot, about their scenario just by asking questions.
You just made me think of something that Linda McKissick has always said, that a compliment is the best way to start a relationship because nobody ever minds one and people never get enough of them. And it has to be true. It has to be like a genuine, compliment. But I love that you said that.
It also reminds me, and I didn't even do this on purpose, but when we first got on the call, we Sydney and I were actually girl crushing over your kitchen. But it's just so natural, like for me to do that, but we actually were. And people think that's the other thing is genuine. Like people can tell if like staring at them, trying to like figure out something you're going to.
Yes, I love that. It's so true. I put in the chat, it's just having emotional intelligence. And my coach and I talk about that a lot. And people that have built really great businesses, they have emotional intelligence. They're good with people. And I think that is huge. Love that. What Stephanie had a great question, and then we'll move on from the open houses unless you guys have any more questions. But when you gather names, even still today from an open house, what exactly do you do? Do you put them on a automatic search? Are they getting your newsletter? Like what's the touch plan look like specifically for those open house people?
Yeah. We're working on like smart plans right now as a team. We're getting better at that. One of the things, a lot of it, I just tried to get as much from them in person as I could.
Yeah.
Like with the search, like if I could, start to get information, like where is it that they're looking, or, do they have a price point in mind, that kind of information, so that at least that initial email is still value packed. And I can follow up with a text and say, hey, I just sent you an email. And usually I would do it that same day, because it just shows like, oh, wow, like no one else is going to do it that same day. They're going to wait till Monday morning or Monday afternoon, or they're not going to send anything at all. So if you can, even if you time block, let's say your open house is 1 to 3, just block an extra 30 minutes or an hour, and just, if it's a vacant house, just stay there. Or if it's, go to a coffee shop, do something, like get all the follow-up done immediately. At least that's what worked best for me.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Same day follow-up with open house people is huge, is totally key.
Yes, because who knows how many if they came to, and that's the other thing I had to like, okay, they came to my open house, they probably went to a whole bunch of others.
Yep.
And my stepdad, he's in real estate. He does commercial real estate. He started in residential. One of the things he would say, which is a bit bold for me, I've not said it, but when people would come in, he'd say, oh, do you have an agent? If they said yes, he would say, oh, your agent makes you go to open houses by yourself. And I was like, like, Kevin, you didn't.
That's pretty good. That's a good script though.
And it kind of gets their wheels turning, like, oh, I mean, they just, I always
I'm shaking her head. Yes. Like I haven't heard that before. Have you all heard that? I've not heard that one before. That's a good one.
It's a bit, I'm like, I haven't been bold enough to ask it. But it's a good one because it gets them, that's their wheels turning. The follow-up is, I'm sure you would say like, oh, there's nothing wrong with that. I always do private showings with my clients, or, you know, something, like that works around your schedule, or, something like that.
Yep. I love that. Okay. Jake's stealing that. I'm writing that down. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So next question. Yes. Did you have let me preface this with, I just got back from 2 days in Dallas with Gary Keller as an owner last week. Yes. Or as an operator. And for the entire second day, all we talked about is the importance of a database moving into the future. And so I really like, if you are regularly on these, you are going to hear us talk about database a lot, because especially as we move into a shift and as we have even more competition, and by competition, I don't mean like an agent down the street at whatever competing brokerage. I mean, like Quicken and Still Zillow and several others. So did you have a database from the beginning, Brittney, or did you develop it over time? And the reason I'm asking them is because we just did, I just ran some numbers. Oh man, where's my sheet? I just ran my numbers. Oh, it's in a text, never mind. And I found, in accordance to command, I guess, is probably the way that I did it, a certain percentage. Oh man, hold on. Yeah. Okay. In one of my market centers right now, 26% of the agents have never they're not using a CRM that we can tell in any. And so and we were sharing those numbers in here, and Gary was like, you guys, it has to stop. You have to have a database. You have to be using a CRM, or you aren't going to be able to be relevant in the next 3 years. So talk a little bit about database from the beginning.
Yes. Okay. So we'll tell a little story about my mom. So, I think she had said, you need a database, and what is that? What does that mean? Well, you need somewhere or something systematic. You can have a list of people that know you, like you, trust you, or that have at some point in time come across something that has to do with real estate, that you can continually, stay in touch with them on. So I think over the years, like we've gone through different, tried it. This didn't work. That didn't work. This person loves this. I don't like that. I know at one point when I first started, top producer was big. Yeah. Not get on the top producer train. I didn't know how it worked. This is like so old school, I feel like, but Google Sheets works for me. That's where I keep track of everything. That's where we keep track of all of our sales. we're starting to get a little bit techie and we're trying to move it over to, like a monday.com or something kind of like that. Now Command, we do use as far as like database goes.
Right. Yep.
And we use Command for that. I think the best advice I hear about database is just go use whatever platform you're actually going to use.
Yeah.
Does not matter what that looks like. If it's a Rolodex and that works for you, sweet, go, do that. But for me, so my mom growing up, and we were always kind of on this like roller coaster, like sometimes we were really, really rich and mom had all the closings that month. And then sometimes we maybe didn't have any closings and we didn't, we were eating roast for 3 days. And then the next, so which
the
is
roller coaster of real estate.
Yes. And that's the experience I have as a kid in the roller coaster of real estate is, we were either getting all new school clothes or like just wear something from your sister type of life. And so that gave me the insight to like, okay, well, I don't want to be on that real estate roller coaster. What does that look like? So for my mom still in real estate, like we talk all the time, obviously, like she just literally, and now she owns other businesses now and she's she's fine. She's good. She's got stuff going on. When it comes to real estate though, her phone just rings and it still happens. And it just rings. And she's like, oh, I got a new listing today. And I'm like, oh, from who? And it's so-and-so from this, and that works for her. And she's doing less business than what I'm doing. And that's good for her. And so if that's how you're working, great. I still think a database is extremely important, especially moving forward, because people need to know we care and we have to stay top of mind. And that's still so important. I am going to share my screen. Share my screen real quick. Let's see here.
Is it letting you?
It should. Yes. Okay. Don't panic about the tabs. I know it's a problem. Okay.
Mine is actually, I think might be worse. So, you guys, okay, here's what you all always ask for. So, and notice, I want to point one thing out. Notice this is one of the things I love so much. So if you'll share this with me, then I'll share it with them too. But you guys notice how Brittney has her QR code, and I love like a postcard. I've shared with them one of your postcards. Yeah, Stephanie said, I thought I was doing great with 114. We'll go into this, but notice how her QR code is on all this stuff too, because why? She's building her referral network. So weuld get into that too. But okay, tell us what this is. Okay, so this is our database. So we're talking about database, and that's where this comes. So when I first joined Keller Williams, I didn't know, you don't know what you don't know, except then when you do know, you can go do better. And so that's what we live on. That's like our motto, like when you know better, do better. So I started reading MREA and they're like, you have to have a 36 touch. And I was like mind boggled. I was like, no way I am talking to these people 36 times. I already talked to them once this month. That's enough. I'll talk to them next month. And okay, then I'm like, fine, 36, we can do this. And so then we just started at 36. What does that need to look like to have 36? Cool. We need this, whatever. So this has just evolved over time. And I have to give credit to my director of marketing. And I'll real quick talk about my team. So I do all the listings for the team. I am the listing agent. We have one buyer's agent right now who does all the buyers. So that 108 that we're at right now, that's just between the two of us. And then we have director of operations and then a director of marketing. And our director of marketing, I kid you not, at like 11:48, I was like, Liv, that meeting's at noon. Can you make me a slide that has a touch? And she's like, yes, give me a second. Like 2 seconds later, she's like, I just shared it with you. So I'm like, yay. Okay. And so this has just developed over time. So by no means do you need to be like, hey, I don't have a touch program today, but for 2023, I'm going to do 172. It's just not realistic. No, but I will add one thing, Brittney, not to interrupt you, but Gary just said that the 36 is now a 52. And the top 200 agents inside of Keller Williams based off of GCI are all over 200 touches a year. So
that as well.
Yeah. I mean, so you are right on track. And I agree with you. If you have no touches, going to 172 from none is completely unrealistic and you will stress yourself out and everybody that's around you. However, like bare bones minimum needs to be 36, but really you're still a smidge behind at 36.
I know. We're like, okay. And so that's a good thing. Like, so we did we had business planning a few weeks ago with Tony DeCello and Diana Kokoska, and
oh my gosh. Yep. Amazing.
Heroes in life. Yes. And Tony made the comment, and I don't know if this was kind of along the lines of what Gary was talking about as well, which he asked, how many of you are Amazon Prime members?
Yep.
And we all raised our hands, and he said, and how many of you have unsubscribed from Amazon because, and we have a Amazon TV. And so when we say things, sometimes it beeps at us.
Yeah.
So he said, how many of you have unsubscribed because they touch you too much, or they send you too much stuff? Well, no one raises their hand. It's because they're providing value, or what they're providing, at least in my opinion, is like, when they send me something, I'm like, well, I might need that. Like I might, and so if what we send people is of value, or is something that is, like that they can, I guess valuable is like the number one word, and that they won't unsubscribe, and we're just staying top of mind. And so that's where this was born. And so Tony said the goal would be that your database turns over at about 10% each year. That would be the goal. So our database right now is 1,100, and we're doing 108 transactions. So we're right there between 9 and 10%, and which is great. And then he challenged us, because really the only way to go do more transactions, which is our goal for next year, is to go grow the database. Well, how do we go grow the database? Now we have to go get creative with the ways, whether it's whatever that looks like, if we're going to go find a farm, or we're going to, add more people from online, or whatever that looks like.
Yep.
And it's just really, really important that we're putting them into this touch program. And so, it's kind of small, but if you screenshot it, or even if you scan that QR code and follow us, or add to the referral network, we can send you like a bigger version of this today.
Yeah, that's great.
But this is just the 12 months of the year, and then what we're doing each week. So some of these are just emails that we have that are going out. Some of them are new emails that
Brittney, since it's kind of small, could you just run down and tell us like what you're going to do in November?
Yeah. Okay. So for next month, so in November, there's 2 emails that go out that are branded to us, but they're like kind of pre-created content. I use a company called Outbound Engine. If you look in, yep. And then we are going to be doing, for next year at least, we're going to be doing 1 email per week that is our new listings and our open houses.
Love it.
So,
yep.
Telling them, here's what we have. And the other thing is, then I can brag on that when I'm at a listing appointment and tell someone, as soon the week that your listing goes live, we're sending it out to X number of people on top of the MLS, on top of social media, on top of all that.
And that's to all 1,100 in your database.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And then once a quarter, which November would be, that we do 1 quarterly newsletter. And that is, we do a paper newsletter. We usually have like a spotlight for one of our vendors. We tell them what's going on, the events we have going on. November, we do 1 event per quarter. So they're small. The goal for our events is not necessarily to have a ton of people. It's that we get the touches from the event. So
I'm sorry, wait, can we go back to you're physically mailing the quarterly newsletter?
We are right now. We just found a thing. I probably will still keep doing that. And we just saw a really cool way that people do, like, it makes it look like a magazine where it's like, it's digital, but you can flip through it.
Yeah.
So I thought that could be kind of
one
cool.
of the things I got still from the top 200 last month was direct mail is huger than it's ever been.
Yes.
Like actually physically mailing to their house.
Yes.
Actually, Lisa, you just asked. Oh, Andrew said Flipgram. Thank you. Awesome. That might be yep. And Lisa, actually, I was just going to say that. Are you mailing? Do you physically have addresses for all 1,100? Are you mailing to all of them?
We're working on addresses for everyone. So one thing we're also working on is kind of our VIP. What does a VIP list look like? Because so the 1,100 that are in our database, those are we have actual phone numbers, emails, not yet addresses for all those people, but those are like people that are like in our Mets. We really haven't clogged up our database yet with not a ton of non-Mets. And so that's what we're focusing on in 2023 is, okay, we have to grow the database. How can we do that deliberately and intentionally and make sure we have like good info for those people? So along the real mailer, so in November, we do pies and that's our November event. So what we did this year, we do this every year, is we send a postcard. So instead of doing like an Evite, we send a postcard and it says, "You bake me so happy," and it has like pies and it.
Your postcards are so good. Does somebody do those, or your marketing gal comes up with that stuff?
It's kind of just a group effort. We just try to come up with like punny things that we like. And so we send the postcard out that has a QR code. The QR code goes to a Google form, and then they get to fill out what kind of pie they want.
Love it.
And so it's just like a physical touch that's not like a text or an Evite. And I think people like that. I love getting mail. Like if I could get mail every day that's not like junk mail or
Same. Yep.
random bills, I'm pumped.
Yep. Do they come pick up the pies?
Yes, they come pick them up from us,
Okay.
and we put on there, there's 2 times. We usually do, I think it's either Tuesday, Wednesday, or Monday, Tuesday.
Okay. Yep. Okay.
And it's a certain time frame.
Yep. Do all clients get the opportunity, or only clients for the year? I think everybody, right?
Everybody. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. And then Josh asked, do you segment your email list, past client sphere content versus send everything to everybody? You were kind of getting into that, how you're developing your VIP list.
Yes, we're developing that list just because there's things like, there's people that are so good at engaging with all of our stuff. And so right now our focus for next year is on the tagging feature within Command.
Yes.
We just did a call with someone and how important it is to like tag everyone. We source everyone right now. So and we'll kind of get into that along the database lines in a minute, but we know every single transaction, we know where they came from.
Yep.
And the next step to that is everyone that gets into our world, where did they come from? So sourcing it that way and tagging them is a good way to do that.
Yep. Love that. Okay. Perfect. 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 Okay. Anything else in November?
Okay. So we have, and along the lines of like picking and choosing who gets content, maybe at some point we will, I thought this was very interesting. So I did a poll earlier this year on social media, and I asked people, because that's one thing that I worried about was, if I'm always posting new listings, is that annoying to people who just closed on a home? And so I made a poll and I said, like, what is it that you want to see? Or like, and a lot of people were saying that even though they just bought a home or just like sold a home, whatever, they still like seeing the just listed, because they still like looking at that stuff.
Yeah. That's a bit interesting. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. And it might be different for you. And I think that's something that can be a touch that's non-salesy. That's just like, if you were to reach out to everyone in your database between now and the end of the year and just say like, hey, how's the end of the year going? How did your year go? You're important to me, and it's important that I get, feedback from people that I like working with so that I can go attract more people like you. What are some things that you like to see on my social media or in my emails? Like, let them be a part of your journey. And I think that's a really big thing that we've done in the last 5 years is I've grown up in this business, and I feel like my clients have grown with us. Like, a lot of my first clients were with me when I was like panicked about 2 pendings, and I'm like crying all the time. And I'm like, I don't know how to have 2 pendings. This is wild. And, and now we have a whole bunch, and it's fun. I think they enjoy the growth, and they get to like be there for
be a part of it. Yeah. I love that. Love that. Yeah. Okay. This is amazing. This is like gold. Jody said we can have a whole class just around this touch plan.
Do you want me to leave this up, or should I stop sharing? Is everyone?
You can take it down, and then we'll send it, or hopefully you scan the QR code, but that is amazing. And thank you for sharing that. I know you guys worked hard on that. And that's one of the things I love most about what we do, which is share stuff.
Yes.
Okay. So any last thing you would add on the touch, or any last questions if you guys have them about the touch? Oh, wait, I think I might've missed. Christy said, what's a good budget to set for marketing, advertising, such as client events, touches? It's going to give you that, Christy, in the budget model in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. However, Brittney, do you know what you put towards that?
I should be better at it.
And I think, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's almost 30%, I think.
Cost of sale, or
just what you're spending on marketing. And there you go. What you're spending on marketing. I
think so for me, so here's like
30 maybe, I think. Oh, it just changed, Stephanie said. I was thinking 20. I should know that. I'll find that out for you guys too.
This isn't super fancy of an answer, I would say, but like,
Stephanie's gonna find it for us. Okay, cool. Sorry, keep going, Brittney.
I was gonna say, for me, and this kind of just goes to like, as you're growing, because I know there's so many people on here that are at different levels of their business. Like, I always just spent what I was comfortable spending at that level. And so like, and then it just grows. So like, you don't, someone that is doing maybe 25 transactions isn't going to spend the same on their budget. And so I think that's good that it's a percentage.
Yeah.
But just doing
I
so that you're comfortable. And then asking the people that you send your business to, your title company, your lender, like, and I have a letter. We didn't create this, but Liv has a letter that she just sent out to all our vendors to get like sponsorship money for our pie event. This is the first year I've ever asked people for money. And we were like freaking out. Like people replied and they're like, I'll give 500. And we're like, what? Like someone's just going to give us $500. Like,
wow.
Okay, cool. So like, I'll have Liv send me that letter and I'll send it over to you, Dana.
Okay. That would be great. And I'll share that with you guys too, because that is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we give so much business to a lot of these people and we don't ever ask them for anything in return.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think that would be awesome.
Yes. And then the last database piece, which I told you I wanted to talk about because I just am really passionate about it, is figuring out, like I had mentioned, we source where all our business comes from. And so figuring out where your business comes from, and then really diving into that. So over 47% of our business this year came from referrals and Sphere and like referrals from other agents. And that's really been a huge value add, is like other agents. And so we're taking advantage of that. And then, so we went,
did we tell them even did we even tell them where you are?
I don't think so. I'm in Nebraska.
Okay. So you guys write her down for all your Nebraska friends.
I have my Nebraska shirt on.
There you go. We couldn't see it.
I know. I was like, I look like I'm getting ready for a tailgate, but it's fine. So Nebraska, that is where we are at. And so this year we went through and we looked at everywhere that our business came from. And then I challenged each one of us, Sydney and I, as far as producing, to then set our 2023 goal based on where the business came from. So for me personally, I don't have a farm. I've never done that. I don't door knock. So I didn't put on my 2023 goals that I'm going to go get 30 deals from door knocking, because I've never done it. Yep. Now I'm not saying you can't go add something. You just have to be mindful of how intentional and how focused you are going to be at that thing. So like this year I love for sale by owners. And so I then went and doubled my for sale by owner goal for next year, because I think there's going to be more for sale by owners. Was for sale by owners your second? So 47, do you have that? Sorry. Yeah, no, you're good.
Okay. So your number one at 47% was referrals, sphere of influence, and I put R to R, which is realtor to realtor referrals. And you guys, just a tidbit on that. Gary has said in the top 200 that is the biggest opportunity for almost every single one of us, is realtor to realtor referrals. Yep. I don't know if she's on, but I'm so proud of Jenny Matioka in our Kentucky office, because she started getting consistent with a monthly newsletter just to agents, and it's good. And she's delivering them value, telling them about things in Kentucky, doing a little video. And I just love it. And I think so I'm glad, Brittney, that you brought that up, because I just want everybody to think about that going into next year, because that's huge.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's awesome. Stephanie said she's 140.
Wow. Yeah, that's great, Steph. Yeah, that's huge. Okay. So Brittney, what,
so the second biggest was 33. And that was, for me, that was new construction. So we do a lot of new construction.
Do you rep a builder?
I do. Yep.
Okay.
And we have seen that slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
And then the next was, I had 15. Well, the percentage is kind of funny because it wasn't like a ton, but 15% was for sale by owners.
Okay. Yep.
And again, I do all the listings. So these are all just listings. And then the remaining 5% was expireds. And I'm not I don't do a ton of expireds, but I would love to be better at it. And so that was so initially I set the goal and I said, I'm going to go do 12 expireds. And then I looked at what I did this year and I was like, okay, well, I did 3. So I don't know that I'm going to go from 3 to 12. What if I went from 3 to 6? And so that's what we did. And then
okay, got it. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. You were going to elaborate on FSBOs. Steph, I think that's what she was going to do next.
Yay. Okay. For sale by owners are my fave. So it's kind of fun because I've, just as my business has grown, I feel like I've kind of found different things that I love and throughout it. And I think that that's something important. You know, if you don't love door knocking or walking, or if you don't love, you know, whatever it is, like, then don't go do that. If you're hearing me talk about for sale by owners and you just absolutely aren't going to do that, like, don't go do something that you're going to hate or that you're not going to be pumped about doing. So for me, with for sale by owners, I love the challenge. I think a little bit. I love that they have their hand raised. They actually genuinely do, for the most part, do need to sell their home. And so it's just, I'm like, referrals are the best. And I think there's a little bit of competitiveness in me that likes when I get to go talk with a for sale by owner. So usually for sale by owners are listing their home for, I like to say 3 things. Either A, it's the commission. B, they just had a really bad experience in the past. Or C, it's an ego thing and they just truly believe they can sell it better than.
So true. Oh my gosh, it's so true. It's always one of those.
And it is those, like, everyone you can put into one of those buckets. And so my job on that initial contact, and I don't know if this, I'm not a real estate coach yet, so I don't like have a thing on this. I always text for sale by owners. So
commission, bad experience, and a little bit of ego.
I just write ego. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Got it.
And the ego ones are the best because it's, you know, those ones are easy to work through, because for me, it's if they're like, well, I just think I can do it better. You know, they don't do this every day. They aren't doing, you know, and so I like to play into their ego a little bit by asking, like, you know, what are they currently doing? And then asking them, like, what do you love about the house? Because that's my job, is to go market it. I'm a professional marketer. I'm a professional advertiser. Like, that's what I'm going to do for your house. And so I don't live there though. And I do understand that you live there and you have those experiences that I do not have. And so what are the things that you've loved about your house? So, you know, those kind of questions.
Gary Keller used to always say that he would say, so if you had a bad tooth right now that needed to be pulled, would you go get the pliers and pull it out yourself?
Yes. And that's like, yeah, that's a perfect example. I feel like that's how we use that example to describe a little bit different, but that's how we describe our team now. Cause when people come to me and they want to buy a house, I just say, you know, the way our team has grown, we all specialize in things. You know, you wouldn't, if you had a broken wrist, you wouldn't go see your dentist. You would go to, you know, an orthopedic.
Yeah. Yeah. And he always used to say too, that he would overcome discounters by saying the same thing. I don't know. He must like to use dental analogies, but he would say, so if you needed dental work, and on the flip side of that, if you did need to have a bad tooth pulled and you were driving down the interstate and you saw a sign that said pulling teeth $199, would you go, would you call that person to pull your tooth, or would you go, you know, would you spend more money to do something different? So he said he always used to do that, but it's true. It's sometimes just getting them to think about it in a different light.
Yes. I love that. I think we're probably headed toward, you know, a little bit more of those conversations too.
Oh yeah.
Now, okay. So
what you said you would text them?
Yes. Yeah. So if it's a bad experience, I just like to get to the root of that. You know, what was it that, you know, if you
How do you know that? What's your first contact with them like?
Oh, okay. So my very first text to them was Monday. So I always text for sale by owners on Mondays.
Oh, okay. Okay. Imagine that, a system. Okay.
So so it's Monday, I did my lead gen this morning. So I text for sale by owners on Mondays, and let me find. Good morning.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
How do you know who to text? Have you just been driving around collecting them, or you're getting a list?
So it is funny. I tell people I work with for sale by owners a lot. And so I do have clients that will send me a picture of a sign. Like I love that. And those are the best, because I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, thank you. When I was a little bit more maybe budget friendly, I would just go on Zillow, filter by for sale by owner, and just go house by house and text them all. Wow. So things don't have to cost a lot of money. I think we use that excuse a lot. Like, well, I can't call for sale by owners. I don't know where the numbers are. Well, that's nice, because our friend Zillow gives them to us for free. For free.
Yeah, totally agree.
And so now I use Vulcan 7.
Yep.
Should like be sponsored by all these people. I'm gonna call these. So I go through and I have all the numbers are there. So I text. It just says, good morning. I hope you're having a great Monday so far. I saw you listed your property for sale by owner within the last few weeks. Congratulations. I wanted to see if it was still available. I'm sure you've been bombarded with realtors, so I'll keep it short. I specialize in helping FSBOs sell their homes. And then in parentheses, it says, yay for you. I'd love to send you an email with my commission information for you to look at on your own terms, and a free for sale by owner guide to help you navigate the process during this changing market. If you are at all interested, just text me your email.
That's great.
Yes, that's like the text.
Love
Um, if they were, so normally they just text back their email.
that.
Like
Do
they
they
don't-
respond?
I would say right now it's about 6 out of 10.
Hold on. Will you screenshot that and send it to me? Okay. Thanks. And we'll send it to you guys. Okay. Stephanie was like getting her recording device out. We'll send it to you guys. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna do it right now so I don't forget because I have.
Thank
issues.
you.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. And then Jody wants to know, thank you. Okay. Jody wants to know what the FSBO guide is also.
Okay. Yes. It was like one of these things my mom purchased for me like way back when I first got licensed. There's a lot of in it. That's a lot of fluff in it. That's actually just junk in my opinion. It's just whatever, it's just like value. So whatever it is, you could probably even call it a for sale by owner guide and send like, a version of your listing packet or have like, pull together some information or some stats that like show, like in our case, I think it's like 9 or 10 pages and it just has like, here's some places that we advertise. It's kind of backhanded. It's a little bit of like, here's all the things we do that we know you're not doing, or like the steps that it takes to sell a home, like here's all that kind of stuff.
Yep. Okay.
I'll go through it and maybe just I'll send you like, here's what it has in it.
Okay. And Stephanie said you mail that or you email it? Email it. Okay. Got it. Okay.
So in the email I send them, I'll just forward you the email. I'm writing all this stuff.
Okay. I'm right. I know. Look, you guys, we're both squirreling all over the place. Okay. And I'm trying to send this thing and put this thing in the chat for you guys right now too.
Like, okay, I'll just send you the email. Forget it. Okay.
If I forget anything, one of you guys just email me and Heather will see it and then it's good as gold. It's yours. As long as if Heather's on it, it's you all are getting it.
Andrew, he goes, just give us everything. Perfect. It's all coming at you live. Okay. So then, so that is, it's okay. They text me their email back. Well, then I reply and I say, thank you so much. I'll get that over to you. In the meantime, how many, have you had I just ask some type of follow-up questions. How is it going? Or have you had a lot of traffic? Or I try not to do a yes or no question, something that's like, you just want to see behind the curtain a little bit. I make fun of us a lot and it's like us as realtors. I'll say, everyone and their mom is a realtor and my mom is. And so then they laugh and, I'm like, listen, there's more real estate agents than there are like, whatever it is. Like, I know there's a ton of people reaching out. How many qualified buyers have reached out? Or like, so asking really specific questions that are going to make them start to think the reason I reach out to for sale by owners on Mondays is because we all know they just baked cookies. They had a 6-hour open house and no one came and it was defeating. And not that we like to kick people when they're down. We just at a weak moment, we don't want them to end up with a weak agent. And so that's why we are there for them on Mondays to pep them up and, get the listing. So I ask them a question, then usually it depends on how bold I'm feeling. Sometimes I'll text and just, let's say they reply and say, no one came, or sometimes it's weird. Like I've had 3 offers. I'm like, okay, like, are you going to pick one? Or, it's so weird sometimes. And I just don't take myself too serious. And I don't take them too serious. Like, the worst thing that happens is you don't go get the listing. And I already didn't have the listing. So I'm not going to
you're not losing anything.
Yes. So I'll text back and say, aside from, okay, once we're kind of having a little bit of 2-way conversation, I'll say, okay, great. So aside from commission, what is the reason holding you back? Could just get it, like separate it. And if there's nothing else, cool. Now, now you have your commission objection and you just walk through that. Or, can we set a time to meet? I sent you that information. If they're like, it's honestly just the commission, and they'll usually tell you why it's the commission. Like if it's because they think, I had a lady last week thought commission was 8%. And I was like, well, shoot, I was going to say 7. No, but like, you just have those conversations and like, so you just remove it and just separate it and then make it conversational. And so then that's an easy, hey, listen, I sent you that email. It has all the information, go ahead and review that. And then let's set a time to meet and then follow up with them. And that's where I need even to do better as that, which is like following up. And the people that don't text me back right now, I just don't ever respond. So like, I'm not perfect either. So now I need to go back and like create a system to follow up with those people
For the second time. Yeah.
Because I know also they don't like, I'm just a random stranger. They don't know me. And I do think with for sale by owners, when I used to track it really heavily, and I'm getting back to that, it usually took between 7 or 8 touches before they were totally cool, like listing the house. Now there's always going to be the ones that are like, gosh, you're great. Come list it. And I'm like, okay, be right there.
Yeah.
But it
Here's
just,
the thing too, I just want you guys to think about for 1 second. What's your average commission? Do you know?
so this year, well, so our average price point was a little bit higher this year just with new construction. Our market's different. On the buy side, we get paid 2.4%
Okay.
no matter what. And then on the list side, whatever you listed at, you just get the rest. So if you listed at 6%, you get 3.6.
Oh,
They'll
okay.
pay out 2.4.
Okay. So what should if I were just going to do a hillbilly math on,
I always just do it based on 3 because that's like average-ish if you were doing listings and buyers. Are you
so
just talking listings?
Yeah. On listings, what would you say your average commission price is?
I'm going to say,
Or average
usually
commission, your average check?
oh, we'll just on average 3% times.
200 or what?
I would say right now, I would say 250.
Okay, so 250,000 times 3% is 7,500. And if she did 15% of her business, it has been FSBOs this year, that's 16 units. That's $120,000 of GCI just because she is reaching out to FSBOs.
Via text on Mondays.
Via text on Mondays. Yes. So if you got no takeaways from today, which I know it hasn't happened, let me just zoom in. Let this be your takeaway. It's just, again, and if you're not going to do FSBOs, don't do FSBOs, do something else. However, I just want you guys to think about the income opportunity. And it's just, yes, Jordan said, hey, look, it's Monday. Just because you can have a little system and you can be intentional about it.
And how many other people are lead genning on Monday? Like, well, nobody wants to hear from me. It's Monday. They're busy at work. Okay, great. I'll do the Monday people. You get everyone else.
Yes, totally. It reminds me of when we did, when I had Cece Underwood on, earlier this month. Yes, we were in Florida together talking about doing TikToks and posting videos. And she said what she said in Florida, my bad video will get more views than your no video any day of the week. So she
all wrote that down. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it was so huge, but that's true. I mean, I think that's so true. Okay. I feel like I missed one question really fast. Oh, Jordan said, and you might've said 7 to 8. I can't remember. How often do you contact after initial response?
Until they tell me to go away or until the house sells. And at that point, if it sells, like, I'm really nice about it. Like, oh my, let's say I send that initial text, like it sold the first day, or they'll respond. If it's sold, I promise you they'll respond because they're pumped about it. And I'll reply back like, oh my gosh, congratulations. That's so exciting. If there's any questions throughout the process or something, it doesn't make it to closing, I'm happy to help, or, like just something like that. Like just being excited for them.
Yeah. Love that. Ash Gale, who also is an open house guru, I will say, said to texting Mondays before 9 a.m. for all your attendees at your open house.
Yes, I love that.
Enormous. Yeah. Love that. Oh my gosh, we only have 2 minutes left and I still have like 16 questions.
Okay, pick like one good or two good ones. I'm like, I'll go fast. I'm a talker.
Who votes for Brittney coming back for part 2 in November? Yes. Okay. Everyone is saying yes. So we might have to make that happen. We have to make that happen.
And like, I don't have anything after this. If we want to like run 10 or 15 minutes, I'm okay. I don't know if anyone else has.
I actually do.
Okay, cool.
My Mondays are crazy. Okay. But we'll have part 2 for sure. People are raising their hands. Okay. So last question. Oh my gosh. Okay. Wait, let me look at my list. I have so many. Let's just do this. What do you think is the one single database touch that someone should implement if they're not, what's your best return? Like, what do people love the most? Is it your events? Is it direct? Like oh, we didn't even talk about social media, dag nabbit.
No, we need to make a list. I'll talk less next time. I'll just like bullet like.
No, we just need to have a longer time. What's the one thing right now that's getting you the most attention? Is it your social media?
So for me, the thing that 172 touch came from was our 4 mini events.
Okay.
We do 1 event per quarter.
Okay. Will you just share those real quick?
And we partner with a local charity for each event so that.
Love that. Hope you heard that. That's huge.
Yes. So February, I'll just go through our events for this year. So in February, we do putt-putt in February. And the other thing is consistency. Now the things we do are so consistent that people like look forward to them. So we do putt-putt. It's indoor putt-putt. It's like a dinosaur themed place. And we partner with, we collect diapers. So we say all you need to do is bring a pack of diapers, and then you get to putt for free with your family. And then we just collect all the diapers. We usually have like refreshments, cookies. We're just hanging out in this little room. They either like at the beginning, they pop in, they say hi, they go do their golf, they come back, like have a cookie, we chat, and then they're on their way. So I like to do things that I'm not tied to like, talking to everyone the whole time. So that's February, March, April. In May, we do our spring cleaning event. So we order a dumpster, and these are very inexpensive things. It's like $200. We rent a dumpster and they drop it off at the market center. Okay. And then we send, tell everyone, hey, the dumpster is going to be here. The funny story about this event, the last year was the first year we did it and nobody came. Not a single person dropped things off. However, we took pictures outside the dumpster and we were like, best event ever, spring cleaning. Like, thank you to everyone who came. Like, social media is fake, and just let it be fake. Use it to your advantage. Like, no one cares. And we were like, best cleaning ever. And people were reaching out, like, people have FOMO. It's a real thing. They're like, oh my gosh, we missed the dumpster event. Please do it again next year. And we're like, don't you worry, we'll do it again. So this year we had to buy a second dumpster.
Wow.
Because we had so much crap, and so one thing, we like to partner with Salvation Army on that one. So if people have clothes or something, or Goodwill, they can drop that off. Salvation Army, we like that one. Okay. So then in the third quarter, we like to do, which this year we didn't get to do it because it was just there wasn't a lot of good movies out, but next year it's on our plan, is a movie theater.
Okay.
We're going to do The Little Mermaid.
Okay.
We like to do something family friendly. So that's the one that we have for next year.
You do your pies in Q4? And
then Q4 is pies. Yep. And we also do in Q4 calendars. We just love to give stuff away. Like I like looking around our, like we have koozies. We just ordered, and I'm really excited about these ones. They're pretty inexpensive. It's wrapping paper cutters.
Oh.
And we're going to send it in a little poly mailer with our calendar. So we're going to save money on stamps. This is going to be a little bit more expensive probably, but we're justifying it in our own way.
Love that.
And it's going to say like, thanks for letting us be a cut above the rest.
Oh, I love that.
Wrapping up 2020 wrapping up a great 2022 or something like that.
Love that. Love that. You, Brittney, so many people y'all are texting me, blowing me up right now. Please have Brittney back. I love it. I can't even take my notes because I'm looking at my text so much. Okay.
I know I have a list of things. I'm like, Liv, we just promised all these people they're going to join our team now. So we have to give them all this stuff.
I love that. Okay. I'm just writing cut above the rest because that is so cute. Wrapping up.
Wrapping up.
I
you
love
don't do anything else from any of this. Like just text the people that you worked with in the last 3 years. And
I'm coming right back. Hold on. I have to show you something. Then we're going to go.
Okay. Oh my God, your chair matches your wallpaper. I'm obsessed with you.
Oh my gosh, it does. I have OCD.
Wait, hold on. Don't move. I'm taking a picture. I have to show Sydney this.
Somebody just sent me that, speaking of wrapping paper, and then we have to go. Look, it has Frankie, you all. Like, I mean, is that everything or what? It has my dog wrapping paper and it says Frankie on it. And honestly, so now that's making me think about your wrapping paper. Like, it's stuff like that clicks, and you're like, I would never use another realtor because Brittney sent me this great wrapping paper.
Okay, 2 seconds. This is a really fun idea. Hold on.
We're never getting off. My 2 o'clock is like, where is she? Okay, we're almost done.
Okay, we did this last year and my team was like, we're not doing that again. That was silly. I thought it was genius. So we had these made and we put them in the yards of everyone that bought a house with us last year. It's like, it says, beware of awesomeness. Thank you for being such an awesome part of our business in 2021. And we put this in their yard.
I think that's so cute. Hold on. I'm taking a screenshot of that. Okay, got it. Wait.
It's like a pointer sign, but we put this in their yard. And so when they got home from work, people were like posting it on social media, like, oh my God, my realtor just gave this to me. Cause it's a little aggressive. Like, it's like, beware. But when you actually read it, it's funny, like, beware of awesomeness. Like, and
so wait, did you go back and pick them back up?
No, we just left them.
That's okay. I love that.
Thank you for being a part of our business in 2021. So we just left it, but people loved it. And they were like, oh my God, I thought there was a hazard. And then I saw this and like, thank you, just a little like, so whatever it looks like for you. I think people love that, and giving them a reason to talk about you on social, because that's, even if you don't talk about yourself on social media, I get that. If we can have our clients be raving fans of us, it looks cooler anyway. So giving them a reason.
I love that. I love that so much. Okay. Well, we said we were going to give you one more thing and we gave you like 30. So hopefully you guys loved this. Brittney, you're the best ever. I mean, it's not only the dimples, it's like the whole package. So thank you for sharing everything. We're going to have you back for sure. Maybe in November, December, we might end the year with you. It'll be great. So thank you guys so much. We'll send you everything that we promised, we think. And if we forgot something, just tell me. And I took a screenshot of that yard sign too. So I'll put that in the follow-up email. Abby is amazing. So she's going to have it on the YouTube today. So you guys can go back and watch. And yeah, I took a ton of notes. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited. I love you guys. So have a good rest of your week.
Okay. Thanks for being on, you guys. Have a great rest of your week. Thanks for joining. Brittney, thank you. I'll text you.
I love you. I'll text you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.